Okay, this is going to be how to tune an ukulele. So I want to make sure that I'm tuned. Because if you're in tune, it's going to sound good. If you're not in tune, it doesn't matter how well you play, it's not going to sound good. So you don't actually need two tuners. We're just doing this as a demonstration. Now some tuners have different modes. Like this one is from Kala. We like it because it's tie-dye. So like, it's pretty easy to tell like if it's your tuner or somebody else's tuner, unless you both have tie-dye. Anyway, it's got different modes. The first one is chromatic. If I press the button again, it'll say guitar. If I press it again, it'll say bass. Press it again, it says violin. That might all seem kind of maybe inconvenient, except we press it one more time and it says ukulele. What's nice about the ukulele mode on this is it only tunes ukulele. It does not care about the other notes. It only tunes the A, the E, the C, and the G. The snark tuner here is just chromatic. It just tunes whatever pitch comes out, it'll do it. So we're going to try to do these so that you can see them both at the same time. So we'll play a note on the ukulele, and hopefully the camera will pick this up. They both are showing that they're close to an A. It's not a perfect A. I'm going to very slowly move the tuning gear while I keep plucking the string. And this one you'll get a green line in the middle, and this one the whole screen just kind of turns green, like green for good. Now it is important to note that this is a correctly tuned A, but you want to make sure that that's the right note it's supposed to be. So the other thing that's nice about this tuner versus this one is over here on the side, when you play this, in addition to saying the pitch is an A, it gives you a little confirmation. There's a little 1 there. It says, you mean the number 1 string? Closest to the ground, and we say yes, the number 1 string. Coming up from there, let's tune the E string, the number 2 string. They're both showing we're close to an E. We're going to slowly turn the tuning gear, because we don't want to go past it. If we go past it, it's kind of a drag. We'll show you what to do if you go past it on the next one. So this one now says E real clearly, quick confirmation, number 2 there. This one, good clean green line in the middle, we're in tune. This one is, let's show you what to do if we go past it on this one. We're a little low for a C here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up and I'm going to go too far. So you saw it flash green, but I went too far. Now I'm above a C. Now the downside is that if I tune down to a C like this, you might think this is nice and safe, but it turns out it's really not. So now it's in tune, this part of the string, but the problem is now there's some slack stored up on this side while the string is sliding through the nuts. So the correct thing to do here is actually continue tuning down past the string on purpose. Come down below the pitch you want. Then we're going to come back up to it. You always tune up to a pitch, never tune down to a pitch. So there we go, tuning up to the C. And this one is tuned to a G. On this ukulele I have a low G on it, but it works the same if it's a high G or a low G. The tuner doesn't really care which octave it's in, it just says G. So this one we're close to a G, we're very close to a G. And there we go. Now when all the strings are in tune, not only do they sound good independently, but more importantly, they sound good together. That's what we want. And if everybody's tuned correctly, then you'll be in tune with everybody. Now what happens if I don't have a tuner at all? Well, I could get a little tuner on my phone, right? Woohoo! We're not going to show how to use that one. The downside of the phone tuners is you need to have a really quiet room. Like right now, this is a really quiet room. But if anybody came in and started playing a guitar on the other side of the room or having a conversation, the phone tuners just get completely confused if the TV's on, if a truck drives by. So we don't really recommend them except like in a pinch scenario. It's nice to have a backup, but this is really the way to go to get one of these, a digital chromatic tuner. There are a couple different makers. They range between $16 and $30 depending upon how much money you want to spend on them. I'm somewhere a little more than that. But let's see. How do you tune an ukulele if you don't have a tuner? Dun dun dun! Or if your tuner battery's dead, or if you loaned out both your tuners and you don't have them anymore. Ah! Or you drop them on the floor and you can't get to them. Can you do relative tuning on a ukulele? Yes. The trick is, whatever note this is, whether it's right or wrong, you could go up to the 5th fret here on the number 2 string, and these should be the same pitch when they're in tune. So this is a good way to double check. If you go to the number 3 string and slide up to the 4th fret, you can double check it against the number 2 string. So this is the 2 center strings doing a confirmation here that they're in tune. And the tune in the number 4 string, when we're on a low G ukulele, we're going to come up to the 5th fret here and tune to the number 3 string, and those should be the same pitch. If we're on a high G ukulele, which is a little more traditional, we could tune this pitch here and confirm that it was the same as that. In this case it's an octave because I have a low G, but it would sound like that, the same note. So let's do relative tuning to an actually wrong pitch. So I'm going to take this deliberately out of tune. So this is no longer an A. So those of you with perfect pitch, this will drive you nuts, but bear with me. This is not a correct pitch, but I'm going to tune all the other strings relative to it. So I just got to make these the same. See how it's too high? This is where you're like, God, I wish I had a tuner, right? So those are the same, those are the same, and now I need these to be the same, and they're not. That little variation, does it matter? Yeah, it does. Ooh. So this is now an out-of-tune ukulele, but it's in tune with itself. So this is what we call relative tuning. So when I play it, most people won't even notice that it's out of tune, but technically this is out of tune, but it's perfectly out of tune. So I can get by if I'm just kind of playing on a beach here and I'm the only ukulele there. But as soon as I get somebody with a tuner, and if theirs is correctly in tune and mine is in relative tune, together it's going to sound like complete junk. So that's where I'm wishing, like, God, if I had a tuner, I could put this back in perfect tune and it would be great. So let me do that. Oh, look! A tuner! Thank God. And it's in the ukulele mode, so quick tune up. How fast can we tune it correctly with a tuner? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press the button and hold the button down on the battery until it turns off so that I save the battery on the tuner. If you turn it off every time after you're tuning, because it really only takes 15 seconds to tune or something. If you tune regularly every time you play, the adjustments you make can be really small. The things that cause the ukulele to go out of tune would be temperature variations, number one. If you put it in the trunk of your car and it gets warm, you take it out, put it in an air-conditioned room, yeah, it's going to be out of tune. Or if you tune it and then the air conditioning cycles on and you're underneath a vent, yeah, it'll go out of tune. So that's normal. Or if you have a cheap ukulele, you'll never be able to get it to stay in tune. Stay away from those. That's a nightmare. But if you got a reasonable quality ukulele, $60 and upward from there would be where we recommend starting. If you go below that, that's kind of the non-tunable, non-playable. If you got one of those, we recommend just getting like a instrument-grade ukulele first, starting about $60, and get a tuner and you'll be off in no time.